My name is Carla Casas. I am an immigration attorney, and I am the owner and founder of Casas Immigration. I run an immigration law firm, and we handle family-based immigration, also humanitarian cases, and I also do deportation defense. Right now, we are definitely in growth mode. I started out as a one-woman show, and now there's 8 of us. And so right now, my obsession almost is making sure that the team is running smoothly, that we have our systems in place, our processes, and that we're transparent within the team. Everyone knows what everybody else is doing so that we can better serve our clients. I'm an immigrant. I grew up being the main, interpreter for my parents. I was very involved in their affairs because I'm the oldest. And that was where the drive came from, to want to be an attorney so that I could be in a position to help people like my family, like my parents, like myself. And I wasn't doing that in corporate law. So eventually I did a few other things before immigration. I became a trial attorney with the U.S. Department of Labor. So I was a federal trial attorney. And that's where I had exposure actually to immigrants, because we were immigrants, meaning like in my job. Obviously, I grew up in an immigrant community, but as an attorney, I was representing the Department of Labor, and we were basically suing companies that were not complying. For example, they were not paying minimum wage. And most of these employees who were being taken advantage of were immigrants. And so I remember in that job, they were asking me, can you help us with our immigration cases? And I had to make very clear to them, I'm not your personal attorney. I represent the federal government. But I wanted to be able to help them. In that moment, it really kind of came home like, wow, I could actually do this type of work that will make such an impact. One of my close family members he was placed in deportation proceedings. It was very difficult on my whole family. This is when I was already an attorney. I was with the federal government, but I got to see up close that process in terms of what happens when somebody is detained by ICE. The fact that you can't find them for days. You don't even know where they are. They don't pop up. I mean, all these little things I got to see up close. And that's what really kind of sealed the deal for me when I realized, okay, this is what I'm going to do. It's my passion. I felt like I came full circle, where now I, as an immigrant child, have grown up. I'm now an attorney who can help my own community, especially in a time like now, where there's such a need for attorneys who are transparent, who are going to hold your hand from beginning to end, which is what I take pride in doing with our clients. And especially when things are a little terrifying right now in the political system. And I feel like our work is so important. And I'm proud of the work that we're doing. So it took me a while to get to this, but this is where I am now. The attorneys in general mostly were white men, and they did not speak Spanish until I remember going with my parents, and they had only the paralegal spoke Spanish, and the attorney didn't really want to deal with us. He was like, go talk to my paralegal. So we didn't even get advice from the attorney. And so those are the things in my firm. I thought, okay, I want to be able to provide that service that I would have wanted. In the beginning, that was my focus, just being able to do this by myself. But then I realized I can serve many more people if I build a team. And so now the focus is building a high functioning team. Where everything, our systems are in place so that we can provide that service in an organized way, right? And that everyone knows what everyone else is doing, and the clients benefit from that system that's in place for us. As a woman in business, it is still very challenging. It is still a man's world. Even though you look at law schools and you look at, it's almost 50-50 now, men and women. But when you look at law firm owners in terms of who rises through the ranks. When I worked at a big firm, the partners, it was still a minority of females in the partnership roles, right? And in general, when it comes to business owners. So I think that there's still certain expectations that, because she's a woman, she's going to be a little bit easier, or she's going to, just be very empathetic. And not to say that I'm not empathetic, but absolutely, I think it's a combination of being empathetic and still being strategic. Women can be very strategic, and that's really important in terms of having a strategy in place for your clients when it comes to immigration law. So I can do both. I can show my clients empathy, and I can tell them I've been through it, and it's true because I have been through it. At the same time, now let's focus on what are your options here. Let's realistically talk what is going to work. What are the risks? What risks are you willing? And for me, that's really important. I never want a client to come back to me and tell me, you never told me X, Y, and Z could happen. If I had known, I wouldn't have done it. So I lay it all out. I feel like an informed client is the best type of client. I literally think about my own history and my own experiences and what we would have wanted. We wanted updates. We wanted the attorney to be able to respond to us, even if it takes a couple of days, but to get a response. We wanted an attorney to be honest with us. And those are all the things, and that is how I shape my process. Like we have, our procedures. Like, for example, we do tell clients, when you send us a question, when you call us, you need to give us 2 business days to respond to you because we are incredibly busy. We can't jump immediately to be able to respond, but we will always respond to the client, always. We all can relate on what are the things that are missing, but now it's not just knowing that, but it's coming up with a plan. How are we going to make that different? And that requires planning, strategizing, systems and procedures, which have been the hardest thing because you're constantly having to tweak them, right? When we have a change in something, the law changes or the policy changes, and then we have to tweak things, a little bit. So it's a constant being flexible, being able to evolve. And in the end, keeping the end goal is to provide better service for our clients. In the end, that's what we're here to do. I wish from the beginning I had, even when it was just me, but I'm talking about like documenting everything. Like, okay, how do I do this? What's the process? Let me get it in writing. Because that is really the best way to run any business. You have to all be on the same page. It has to be in writing somewhere. You have to all be following the same script. You have to look at the metrics, because otherwise, how do you even know? And those are all the things. It took me way too long to actually start doing that. And now that I have a team of, there's 8 of us, I'm like, okay, I have to do this, and this is the way. But I really wish I had caught on to that earlier on, because I think I would have saved myself a lot of heartache and had seen things not work out the way that I wanted them to, because I didn't have those things in place. And I don't think you can shortcut that. Thinking that you have to have all the answers, right? You have to know. I feel like oftentimes when women, we feel that we have to go above and beyond, because a lot of times we are expected to be able to show that we can do it even better, because there's already that internal bias. In the beginning, there's going to be a certain level of overwhelmness, I guess you could call it, which is normal, because it's a whole new world, right? If you're starting your own business, there's so many things that were new to me. So there's a certain level of that you have to expect. At the same time, I don't think you can run yourself ragged that way for too long. I think that's when, I think it all goes back to organizing, setting up your systems. I think it's important to have a day where we specifically highlight this, right? We highlight this, we focus on this, we look at women who have, different achievements. At the same time, I think what matters even more is what we do the other 364 days, right? It's not just one day. It's what we're doing, what resources, as a society, I guess, right? It's not just saying you can do this, but it's like putting it down, like the resources, the mentorship, the financial, for women to really be able to do this, right? All of those things matter even more. Mentorship, right? Being able to see and this is why also we have so many law students reach out to us, to my office, they somehow run across our website, right? And I've had so many law students or recent graduates reach out. And anytime they do, I always tell my receptionist, schedule a time for me to talk with them, even if it's only 10 minutes. But I want to be able to give them the feedback, answer their questions, because I didn't have that. I didn't, when I was going through law school, it's become better now. But like I mentioned, in the firm that I worked at, there was one Latina female partner, and this was a big firm, right? But there was one in the office, in the Chicago office where I worked. I mean, there weren't that many examples of people that have done this, or law firm owners. So I think that, for one, is really important. I think it's so important to give back. I think there's a lot of that. Well, maybe they're not that great with the strategy, but they've got the empathy, they've got the, the other things that meant, but I think they're underestimated a lot of times because, again, I think women can be much more strategic, because they're sometimes can be more detail oriented and all those things. I think it's just sort of like, it's not a one size fits all. I cannot imagine not having some sort of time tracking. And I do think that Clockify makes it easy. That was one of my things, is to find one that's very user friendly, because we already have so many tools that we use. We're overwhelmed with like all the different apps and the gadgets. And I'm like, okay, another one, they're going to be upset. So I want to make it easy as possible. And Clockify truly was. I looked at a few other ones, but Clockify to me was the most user friendly, the most straightforward, easiest to create the reports. Anyone who's trying to really organize themselves from the beginning, try to do their systems and procedures early on, I think this is hugely important, especially as you grow, because you need to know where your time is going. I love looking at my time reports to be able to see, okay, it's a sense of pride, like, okay, how much time did I put towards, I do a lot of networking as well, right? Because it's my job to bring in the business. So I do a lot of lunch meetings, a lot of networking events, following up with people that I've met at networking events. And so I like being able to see like what percentage of my time is going towards that. Because that should be a good chunk of it at this point. I have delegated a lot of the things that we do, and my job is to be the rainmaker, to bring in, to make those partnerships. And then I catch myself. Some weeks I run my report and I'm like, wait a minute, why am I doing admin stuff still? That's all things I can delegate. And right now, in fact, it helped me to figure out that I need to hire a personal assistant, which I'm in the process of doing, because I caught myself. I'm like, why am I doing all of this could be delegated to somebody else. A lot of the admin work, it creeps back into my life, because I will say that's one of the hardest things for me has been to learn to delegate. So I'm a big fan. That's all I can really say. I would like to send a greeting to all the amazing women out there on International Women's Day. This is our day, and you should enjoy it and celebrate it.